Armored Core 6, from a newbie's perspective that hasn't played any of these games, this interests the hell out of me. So I just wanted to go over this with you guys as well. So yeah, right off the rip here, like the maps are absolutely huge. You could see that there's just like a nice single player like route for you to take. And depending on what kind of robot you take, you're gonna have just different ways to go about and explore this map. This dude's obviously taking the mech to fly around. And then I don't know if this is like an attack right here, this little speed boost that he's doing, but you're gonna see this later on in the footage as well. So that right there is very interesting, but really cool how these maps are all laid out. You can see like the bridge here in the background. If you pick like a tank, you're gonna have to just stay obviously on the floor because you're not gonna have these jets that this specific robot has. This place has been infiltrated by an enemy named Rad, so we're gonna see our first little bit of combat. And right here, this dude sends out missiles from here. Boom. And then they split. Like, some hit this enemy, some hit over here. I wonder if that's going to be like a soft target. Are you going to have the option to pick and choose where these missiles go? What if we wanted to just lay down all those missiles on one single target, or are they going to always be split depending on the type of like machine gun that you're picking in game? So, that's interesting. There's our first little plasma melee ability there. Now there's going to be a stagger bar as well in this game, just like in Sekiro. It's definitely more based on that FromSoftware gameplay, which honestly I feel like I definitely hear that there's some contention into that from other people, and in past Armored Core games it wasn't so heavily inspired by like Elden Ring and Sekiro, that type of dodge movement, but I'm really liking that. That's kind of pulling me in as a new gamer looking to purchase this. So, but that's an absolute sick move there. I wonder if that's just gonna occur because he's staggered. Like you see him, he's kind of like breaking down his posture there. And then this is gonna be like your loading screen right here, like your fog gate, right? So that's how we're just gonna progress through the actual game. You can see the little checkpoint screen pop up there at the bottom when he walks through the gate. Now, also from footage that I was watching on this, they were saying when these doors opened up, it was showing that they were actually being attacked from the back. So it's leaving you completely vulnerable when you go to open these gates. You can't just sit there and like sprint through the map like you did in Elden Ring and things like that. So that's good this way from your first playthrough. Like you kind of have to deal with what is behind you. You don't have to just sprint through and then open up these fog gates, as we'll just call them, because when they were testing the game, they were just getting destroyed while still trying to open up these gates. We're going to have all weapons are going to be able to be fired at once. So on controller, that's going to be interesting. Like you're literally going to have the option to fire LB, RB, left trigger, and right trigger all at the same time. Doing all of that is going to be absolutely insane. Full 360 movement, which could be obvious to people, but when this game came out way back in the day, it was definitely not like that, how you have the soft lock on, hard lock on. And just giving you this full 360 movement is going to be very fast paced. And it's nice that they're giving us a ranged and melee option. I wonder if the melee is only going to be available on that left hand side due to that animation. That's something to kind of keep a lookout for, but he has an option to kind of keep going forward, take this gate, or go up, depending on what type of mech you're going to be going with. Again, hitting him with the melee, very cool. That plasma blade is something that's very interesting, but I want to go back here because as this dude dips back, you see the shield pop up and then has a perfect reflect right here. Boom, see how that pops out? It just gives a perfect parry system. So that's going to be in here as well. Just another way to kind of go a little bit more in depth or perfect your strategy when playing the game. Then he goes ahead and screens for the enemies. This is very cool, giving you an option to kind of see the lay of the land, you know, and then give you just a nice strategic way to enter combat instead of just kind of going in guns blazing. Kind of just goes in and gives a nice scan of the whole area. Just being able to be more knowledgeable and take your time and pick apart what areas and where the enemies are and what areas you want to attack first. Again, you've seen that here. Both these missiles separate, so is that going to be your soft lock-on? You literally have a choice to just either bombard one single enemy with all of your missiles, or you could split them into 2 different enemies here or more. And I feel like that's the same attack as before when the guy knocks him off the edge. And then we get our first look at the actual gearing system here. I heard that gearing is a little bit less than what it was back in the day. I feel like they're going to be implementing a lot of this stuff and just kind of condensing it into specific parts, so it's not going to be so crazy. It looks pretty good. From my point of view, this is enough to kind of get you by. I wonder if they're going to be increasing parts as you go. They're integrating like multiple different pieces into one piece in this mech in this game, which is good. It won't be too much for everybody to kind of get a handle on. In the demos, we also seen that you're going to be able to jump back into this garage per fight. So like if you end up failing versus a boss or something like that, you're going to be able to swap out your mech right then and there. So if it's not really working out and you're having a hard time with this flying around and stuff like that, not saying that you're having a hard time, but like if the actual mech is dealing with the boss encounter a little bit lackluster, you'll be able to swap out right then and there which mech you're using. Maybe you can go to a tank or something with 4 legs or something like that to maybe get more of a jump instead of flying around. You're not going to be stuck in that one mech situation. You'll be able to swap in and out per boss fight. And it really brings us back to like that Elden Ring. You could tell FromSoftware is kind of bringing through all those dodge mechanics and stuff like that, bringing back the posture. And I'm really looking forward to that. And then you have this last scene here when you finally see our first boss attempt. And this thing's no joke. Like, look at this. Coming right out of the gate, you gotta jump to dodge it. I wonder how you're gonna be able to do damage to something like this with fully armored. And then you see the top there where it's gonna be extra vulnerable in that little gasket on the top there. So this is really showing that 360 gameplay. Good mechanics. You can let me know what you guys think about this. I'm pretty hyped for it. I had no care in the world for this at all, but after seeing this clip, definitely interests me considering it's going to be a single player game, and there is going to be some PvP. We don't know if it's going to be 2v2, group PvP. Yeah, we'll have to wait till we get some more information on that, but something to keep a lookout for, you know? Armored Core 6. We have a release date on it and everything. I don't know it off the top of my head, but definitely go peep it out if you're interested.